Welcome to the She Will Shine podcast, where we bring you the real stories of female business owners. My name is Danielle Price and I'm the founder of She Will Shine, a supportive business network for women. It's time to give a voice to women in business and discover their journey.
Hi everyone and welcome to the She Will Shine podcast. Today we have the lovely Edel Beattie with us. How are you, Edel?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you, Danielle?
I'm good. Thank you for being with us today. I'm very excited to chat with you. Both of us are excited this morning. For those who may not know Edel just yet, Edel is the founder of the Happy Organiser, an Irish mum of two who calls Australia home and has a creative knack for crafting beautifully organised spaces. Edel loves helping others reclaim the happiness in their homes, and her business is all about creating sustainable systems which make life easier. Oh, I love that line, making life easier.
Every little helps.
It does. It's true. Sure. Especially in a home when you're surrounded by it, if you're working from home 24/7.
Exactly, yeah. And I think so many people are now. So yeah, that's part of why we're doing this, helping people create calm environments so they can relax, they can work, they can just, enjoy their homes better.
Yes, definitely. I wanted to ask you, Edel, were you one of those children who were always very neat and orderly at school? Your books would be just fine, or were you a messy kid?
I was always very neat and tidy, and it's something that I didn't really, notice very much. It's only really later in life when you look back and you're like, oh yeah, I was that kid. And I shared a room with my sister growing up, and she was the messy one and I was the tidy one. And it's funny because we shared a double bed, and she had her side of the room and I had my side of the room. Her side was always messy, my side was always tidy. I'm sure she won't mind me sharing that.
It's funny, I shared a room with my sister till I was 18 or 19, which is pretty much unheard of these days.
Yeah.
But I always thought that she was the messy one and I was the neat one, but she always denied it. And then when we got our own rooms, the truth came out because her room was always messier than mine.
I think the truth always comes out. But even as a child, I was always the one that got, someone to come and tidy up there. It was like, Edel, can you tidy the kitchen? Edel, can you tidy? And my granny would always get me over the weekends to help her around the house. So I was always that one that was, the chosen one for the tidying up.
I'm like, that's what a title you want as a kid.
Yeah, but it was good. I enjoyed it. And I think just now in hindsight, looking back, it was something that was always in me, and even throughout work. And now I'm always sort of like shuffling things around and like straightening things up, tidying up, Yeah, so it's good. And I think it's helped a lot with life and with kids. And, even in the workplace as well, just having that order and systems and I was always that person that was trying to improve things, improve systems and, finding a better way of doing it. So, yeah.
That's definitely helped over the years then.
Yeah, it's helped. And so we are, and this is where it's brought me today. So, yeah.
And so what sort of career path did you, because I guess, cleaning wouldn't have been, or tidying is not really a career path that you would think of when you finish school. What career path did you then sort of decide to go down?
I think when it comes to the tidying up and organization, it's not something that's ever even came into my, mind as something that would be, a career path at all. So whenever I was younger, I guess like all the traditional routes, at one stage I was thinking about doing law and, accountancy, all the things. To be honest, I never ever really knew what I wanted to do. I was always just putting ideas out there. Oh, maybe I could be this, or maybe I could be that, never really knowing. And then after high school, or towards the end of high school, my mum had passed away very suddenly. And I think that just shook me up even more. I was just like, I have no idea what I want to do now. And anyway, I decided to go at that stage and study nursing at university. I have no idea why. I think I felt at that stage of my life that I just wanted to help people. I wanted to like give back in some way, and still not really knowing what I wanted to do. This was just like, oh, I want to be a nurse. And I don't think it really came from the, you know, the place of like my true sort of purpose. It was just because it was something that felt like a good idea at the time. Anyway, I studied nursing into my second year, and then I dropped out because it just didn't feel right. Didn't enjoy it really. And I really struggled to just show up for it. And so dropped out anyway, and then got into the workplace, different jobs along the way. I've kind of, you know, I've done everything. Anyway, I've worked in a hotel. I worked in, so I then got a job as an account manager for a family business in the kitchen manufacturing industry. And that was I really enjoyed that. And I think that gave me a really good insight to how a business is run and like successfully.
Like, if it was a small family business, you would have seen everything.
And you know what, like, it's just looking back now that I'm so grateful that they gave me that opportunity. And like, they were such a good family to work for. It was such a good business. They had incredible systems in place. They put a lot of trust in me, and I really enjoyed it. But at that, it came to a point in time that, and I was progressing quite well in that job. But then the opportunity presented for me and my partner to come to Australia at that time. And anyway, it was an opportunity I didn't want to, you know, miss. So left that job, came here. That was 11 and a half years ago now.
Oh, wow.
And I was 25 at the time. So still kind of, you know,
finding out who you were.
Not finding out who I was, not really knowing what I was doing with my life and all the rest. But, you know, Australia, here we come. So
was that a hard decision?
You know what, there was a conflicting feeling at the time. I remember in the moment I was like, oh, but finally I'm just really finding my way in this job and really loving this and progressing, and they trust me, and like, it's all coming together, and now you're throwing this at me, what, you know? But it was just, so it was difficult. And I felt like I was never that person that was, you know, into traveling and seeing the world. But my husband, he was my boyfriend back then, but now husband, he was that type of person. He was a bit more adventurous, and he's like, let's just do it. Let's go, let's try it out. So I went at that point and arrived in Australia. And again, it was like starting from scratch. It was like, well, I've got, you know, what am I going to do?
Didn't know anyone. Yeah, what are you going to do?
Didn't know anyone. I was on a working holiday visa at that time. So, you know, your options are so limited in what you can do. So I had a couple of different jobs. I worked as a nanny, which was interesting, but that's another story. I worked in a small accountancy practice. You know, a lot of administration roles, and I guess that was sort of my strong point at that time, administration. And anyway, I ended up getting a job for David Jones in the buying department.
Oh, that sounds like a good one.
It was really good. I don't know, I just fell into it somehow. Well, I don't think you ever just fall into a job, but I applied for this job sort of thinking, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to get this, you know. And, you know, one of the questions at the time was, you know, you need to be really good at Excel, Microsoft Office and all that. Oh yeah, I'm great at that. That's, no problem to me. And, you know, I sort of just like, I don't know, I managed to get the job anyway. And I was like, look, whatever it is, I will learn it when I get into the position. So got in there.
That's awesome that you were like that though, because so many people are like, oh, if I can't do one thing, then I can't do the whole job. Like so many women in particular.
Yes, I know. Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, even when I started that job, I was coming home in the evenings going, right, I really need to work out how to do a VLOOKUP. So I'm like, you know, watching YouTube tutorials and all the rest. Anyway.
Learning on the job.
Learning on the job in the evenings. Anyway, that time passed and that all went really well. And I felt like I really enjoyed that job and it taught me a lot. But kids came along. That was just a whole nother spanner in the works. And I kind of felt like I was back to the drawing board at that point. It was like, what am I going to do now? I felt like I had really found something I loved, something I was passionate about, you know, and in buying, it is a lot about sort of systems and strategy and all the rest. And I really enjoyed that part of it. But yeah, when kids came along, I sort of just felt like I wanted to do my own thing at that stage. And I don't know, part of me always had this thing in me that I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to do my own thing. I never really knew what that was, but there was a little niggle in me, and I had this kind of desire. I was just like, I just want to do my own thing. And I remember I used to like sit and just, you know, come up with ideas in a little notebook and right, what business am I going to create here? Anyway, you know,
Did you have family or friends around you that ran their own businesses?
Not really. I never really was surrounded by that sort of entrepreneurship. Like that wasn't really a thing in me. You know, my dad, we've got like a family a farm business. So I guess there was that, and he was self-employed. So was my brother. Well, I guess, yeah. So in many ways, yes, they always worked for themselves. And I guess I kind of craved that independence and that, you know, wanted to do my own thing and not really have to follow all the rules.
I never had any inkling until I wanted flexibility for a family. So I didn't really have any I think the closest family to me that had their own businesses were my uncles. So, and like a few of them are farmers because my mum's family background is in farming. So the same sort of thing, but it's like I never had that inkling that you had.
Yeah, I don't know, it was in there, but at the same time, I think a lot of fear, and it just wasn't the right time, and it always held me back. And I was like, okay, maybe that's not for me. You know, that sort of like self-doubt and not really seeing yourself as that person, you know, not having that self-worth and that belief that, oh, I can be a person that owns my own business and succeed.
To be out of my league.
Yeah, and I guess that was a big part of it for me. That held me back for so many years. And then whenever 2020 lockdowns came, and I was in a position where I was sort of coming off the back of an extended maternity leave.
How old were your kids at that stage?
2 daughters, Willow, who is now 6.5, and Ivy, who's 3.5. But back then, Ivy I think she was 1.5 or so, and I had an extended maternity leave, and I thought I was just craving to get back into something. I was like, right, I just need to like express my creativity or do something, you know. And you know what, the idea of going back to this sort of the traditional job, it just wasn't appealing to me. And in a way I sort of thought, well, this is my opportunity here, you know. And we were in lockdown at the time. I had a little bit more time for self-reflection, and I guess I thought, right, well, you know what, this is my time to really kind of like self-reflect, work out what it is I am passionate about. I was passionate about so many things, but like it was just about really working that out, and like, where are my strengths? What's my own sort of superpower? How can I create a business out of this? Anyway, I then, one thing I'm really passionate about is like mental health and health in general. And helping people. And I felt like I've always wanted to sort of give back in some way, but it was like, well, how? What am I good at? You know? And I guess that's when the sort of organization, home organization, especially, and just living a simple life, simplifying life, that all of those things sort of came to me at that point. And I was like, you know what? I am good at that. I'm good at this. And I've always been helping people with this unknowingly, not really, you know, paying attention in a way, but I've always been doing it. So why can't I create a business out of this? Anyway, I guess when I first started, I had no idea that I could become a professional organizer in that way. I kind of thought, right, well, what ways can I use these skills to help others? And I came up with the name, the Happy Organiser, and maybe I can create a blog or something that I can help others, you know, and I'm not sure how I'll help them, but I'll find a way.
In some way, yeah.
And, you know, the online space was growing massively at that stage. And I sort of felt like, okay, I need content. And then I guess I helped a few friends. I already had organized my own home over that, like the course of the time leading up to this stage. And I was trying to get content for online, and I did help a few friends out, and they had said to me, oh my goodness, this should be a service. You're great at this. And I was like,
you're changing lives. Like that is life changing. And I guess you can walk into your home and feel that calmness.
Yeah. And that experience just gave me a bit of an insight to, oh yeah, actually, you know, not everyone lives like me either. And I could definitely use this skill to help other people. And throughout that sort of time of lockdowns and you know what, it was just became more and more apparent that the sort of need for this service, and not only the service, but sort of just more people talking about it, more people creating content around this, you know, subject of decluttering and simplifying life.
Well, that's a lot of us were craving that during lockdown. I know you're located in Wollongong, so slightly different experience than us here in Melbourne. But that's the thing, we were at home, we were overwhelmed with the situation that we all found ourselves in. But we're in our own homes, like what can we control? We can control these four walls. What happens inside the four walls?
Exactly. And it was really just about taking back control. And I've seen a lot of things, you know, throughout that time. I guess whenever you start something or you start researching into like a particular subject, you know, everything stands out to you. You notice everything at that stage, you know. So I guess like consumerism, all of the habits of people in general, and, you know, people online shopping going through the roof, people just sort of buying stuff continually and not really valuing their space in the sort of process. So for me, I really wanted to change the way people think about their space and be more intentional with sort of what they're buying, how they're spending their time, how they're using their space. And just by sort of thinking about that, being more mindful of that, it just changes everything, you know. That was part of it. And in the process of that, I guess just it lightens the load and mental health improves, everything. It's one small part of like a bigger puzzle, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And you were putting out, so you're saying you're putting out content. I watched your content quite religiously, one might say. But because you put on your Instagram, what's your Instagram handle? Is it at the Happy Organiser? Is that correct?
At the _happy_organiser.
Okay, there you go. Underscore. Remember the underscores in between the words.
I think someone already beat me to it with the.
That's right. We'll remember the underscores. But this thing, you're putting out awesome content. And it's like, oh, okay, let's have a look. And it really did help people. Like I said, it can seem so small, but it is part of a bigger picture.
Exactly. And it's just making people realize that their space and their habits are important. It's only just one part of the bigger puzzle, as I said, you know, in terms of mental health and well-being and our stress levels and managing just life, especially whenever kids come into the mix, or, you know, you're a busy professional and when things are chaotic around you, it's just, everything just feels heavier, you know, you just feel more stressed. So I just want to help people like simplify things, streamline their home a little bit more so that things have a place, and also so that everyone can help out. So one thing that is really, you know, I'm really passionate about is also just making the home more functional for the entire family and for, you know, external people coming into the home, so that it's not all down on one person. It's not all one person doing everything. And I think in order for things to function well, everyone needs to, you know, chip in. Everyone needs to help out. Everyone needs to do their thing. And whenever the systems are there, it makes that possible, you know?
Yeah. So how has, not just friends or family, how has like the public, I know that I've embraced I love watching what you do, but what sort of reactions have you been getting from other people when you go into their homes or when they see something on Instagram that's really helped them?
I've had a really positive reaction, you know, it surprised me, because you do sort of go into this, and I know a lot of people experience this, like the imposter syndrome around, is this something that people even need to hear? What, you know?
Yeah. What value will people get?
Why me? Why am I?
Yeah.
What value am I giving them? But actually, you know, I guess like a lot of things in life, it's just those, like, reinforcing that message continually and being there, sort of the voice of reason, and reassuring people that it is important and they're not overthinking it, and that it can be better. They can improve their home, they can simplify it, and they don't have to always spend time cleaning and tidying, because whenever you simplify it, well, that just gives you more time back, I guess. And also just from clients that I've worked with, the change, and it's funny because I'm usually taking stuff away. They're not buying stuff. I'm taking stuff away, and they are feeling this, like, probably this
relief.
weight's
been lifted.
The weight has been lifted, and it's like when they let go of that stuff, it's just and they can see their space. They're like, oh wow, I didn't know it could look like this.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could have that home, you know.
Well, that's the thing, right? We look at we watch the block and you go, oh, I would love to have a house like this or whatever. You think that your house could never be that way, and then you're doing a transformation in itself, and it's not like a renovation.
Yeah,
it's within the walls, but it makes such a big difference.
Exactly. And it's just the simple things. And I say this to people sometimes when I work with clients. I'll walk in and I might look at their space and they'll say, oh, but I want to keep all that, but I also want this. You know, they want both. And I say, no, you can't have both. To achieve that, you probably need to discard some of what you have. You need to reduce what you have, and then you can achieve the space that you want.
Yes. Do people get emotional, Edel, when you tell them that?
They sometimes they do. And I know that people really find it hard to, get rid of things, find it hard to let go of things that they've been holding on to for years. But sometimes when you, I guess, change how you're viewing things, you sort of, change the lens on things. And when you ask the right questions and get them to reflect on them, the questions, it sort of changes their own way of thinking, and they realize that, it's like, well, why are you keeping that? When, like, what's it adding to your life? And what if you do let go of it? Like, what's going to change? What's going to be the positive impact? And usually it's actually better, because they can see then that they're going to get their space back by letting go of the stuff. And and don't get me wrong, I'm not a minimalist by any means. I mean, I do love a minimalistic look in a way, but I think it's not so much about minimalism. It's a bit more about sort of just intentional living, and being really intentional with the things that you're keeping, and what you want, and not just keeping stuff for the sake of it, just because, because someone gave you that gift 10 years ago and you don't want to let go of it because, well, you might offend them, even though it hasn't come out of the box. It's still in the box from 10 years ago. You're like, okay.
But that's the thing, right? They've got you to handhold through that process, because that can be quite difficult at times. Not always, but definitely at times there would be situations arise that can be difficult. And I think if we were doing things ourselves, we don't have the voice of reason. It all becomes emotion.
Exactly. And it's that voice of reason and just rationality, being rational. And I understand as well that there are some things that we do want to keep. And I have stuff that I keep as well. And it's about distinguishing what's important and what isn't. And I always say to clients as well, if you keep everything, well, then that sort of makes everything less special.
Yeah, nothing's important. Yeah.
Whereas if you just have this one space for your sentimental keepsake items, and then, that's important to you, and where they are, they're kept safe as well. And I think also it comes down to your own sort of capacity. You can't physically, if you love something and you love everything, because everything in your house you love, you can't physically, you don't have the capacity to really, really give that the time, the space, the care that it needs. So it comes back to asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right. 100%. So 2 years into business now, is that correct?
Coming up to 2 years. So the ideas and, starting the process sort of began 2 years ago, but officially it was September 2020. That was sort of more when I launched the professional home organising business. Yeah.
So how has it changed you, do you think? Has it instilled more confidence in you and what, value in what you can offer?
It has, because now I have that sort of proof, I guess. I've
validated
done it.
Yep.
I validated it, and I've seen it. But it has been like, it's been the hardest. Well, I say it's been the hardest. Probably parenthood has been the hardest. But it's been like one of the hardest things that I've ever done. But also I've learned so much. I've learned more about myself over the past 2 years than I have done in my entire life.
Yep, I believe that.
It's just that you come up against all of these hurdles and these blocks, and it's like, why am I doing this? And the I guess repeat patterns. You see these patterns in your own behavior, so it's been a very steep learning curve, but a really good one. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't go back. And I think it's just like once you start, it's like there's no going back.
Yeah. I know you got on that wheel now. You got to keep going.
I'm on the wheel. I have to keep going. I cannot come off the wheel.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because I've been working for myself for, probably 15 years or so now. And I'm like, I don't know how I would just say if I have to get a job. I don't know how to write a CV. I don't know how to interview.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And I don't want to know how to do those things again.
I know. It's crazy. And I'll be honest, there was one time, this was a few months ago, I was just really frustrated, and there was just a few different hiccups and things happening at that time, and I was like, oh, this is too hard. And I was like, right, that's it, I'm going to get a job. I'm just going to get a job, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I looked at it for like 5 minutes and went, oh, no way. I was like, no, not doing that again. Okay. So yeah,
that happens. Like, you know, I've been in business for myself, like I said, so many years, but that's happened a number of times over that journey. Like, it's so much easier if I was a checkout chick back in my day. I'm happy to go back and be a checkout chick. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because it was just so much simpler. I just got home. I didn't have to think about work. You can focus on other things. But then I'm like, oh no, I think I'd get a bit bored. I think it's the challenge.
Yeah. And it's also business. Like that, the passion, like that never goes away. Like I do think about it a lot. And I know, you know, this whole idea of sort of work-life balance, it's kind of like just became a part of who I am in a sense, because I enjoy it. Like I absolutely love it. Yes, there are the frustrations and all the things that come with it, but like in general, I like love the whole this idea of just being able to create something, you know. And it's like, right, what'll I do this? You know, what's the plan for this month or this year? Right, what are we going to work on? And I get to choose. You know, it's my choice, and it's hard, but it like you reap the rewards at the same time. So yeah,
that's good. Right. Especially around a young family, like you can go to, you know, kinder whatever or school things that are happening during the day. You can work around that.
Yeah. It's, you know what, it's like sometimes I say to myself, which is terrible, it's like, say, oh, it's so hard. It is so hard with young kids. Just this constant, right, how's this going to work? Okay, I'm going to have to book in after school care today. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to do that. You know, you're always trying to have to, and they come first.
Yeah, always.
But you're trying to build your business around your family life and your kids. But so sometimes I say, oh, you know, wouldn't it be so much easier if I had done this before having kids? Like, but then I also think, no, but hang on, I wasn't in that place. It took me to actually be on maternity leave, you know, to have that sort of space and feel inspired. And also it's kind of given me the personal experience of what it's like to have kids and the chaos that comes with it and family life, and really empathizing and understanding other people's situations with kids and all the stuff that comes with kids. You know, it's never ending.
Yeah, that's right. It's interesting because we have some members who started their businesses pre-kids, and a lot of, probably the majority of them started the businesses after the kids. And with me personally, I wanted to have a family. So I think I started my business maybe 12 months before my son was born. So it's different experience for everybody.
Yes.
But I do think that having kids first, your eyes are a little bit more open to the reality of what it will be like, or what, because you're experiencing it, what it is like to run a business around children.
Yeah, it's so hard. But you know what? I feel like I'm finding my way.
Yeah.
It just takes time. You know, you can start out on your business journey with young kids and feel like it's impossible. On so many occasions, I was like, this is impossible. How do people do this? Like, you know, you're up through the night, you're up early, you're doing school drop-offs, pickups, all the rest. But I don't know, it just takes time, and it's sort of you just work it out, and you realize, one thing I really did realize as well is you can't do it alone. You really need to like outsource, seek support in any way you can.
Ask for help.
You know, ask for help.
Yeah.
And that's been a game changer for me as well. It's just like, look, you know what, I could spend all my time doing that or this, but then I'm just juggling too many balls and I'm going to drop them all. I need to get some help here. So yeah, that's been good.
Yeah. And I think as the kids get older, so mine are grade 4 and year 7 this year.
Oh, wow.
So I think it gets easy. It gets busier in a way, but it gets easier as well, if that makes any sense.
I can already see that with my 6.5-year-old. She's almost 7 now as well. She's a lot more independent.
Yeah.
But yes, then with that age comes all of the extracurricular activities. And
I feel like mum's taxi at the minute, in all honesty.
The taxi, yes.
Yeah.
I know, I hear you. Oh.
That's the thing though, like our businesses evolve as we evolve and as our needs change. And I guess the beauty of it is we have that flexibility to be able to work out, right now the kids need me, or right now the business needs me, and sort of, and it can change from day to day.
It changes all the time, and it's no, like, and for me, and I know this is the same for a lot of people, every week is different. So you can't just have a week where it's like, oh, on Monday I do this, and Tuesday I do that, and Wednesday. No, it's like, I just feel like every week you never know what's going to come in your direction, and you have to just be flexible. You have to really sort of do the inner work, I suppose, they say. And it's like, you have to like learn to sort of breathe and take that time for yourself, and really, like that's so much a part of it as well, that sort of own personal development and working on yourself, giving yourself time to then that helps you deal with all of the other chaos too,
That's right, definitely. And who would have thought, I know that I didn't, and I know we've talked about this in other podcasts, that being a business owner would have that much. I had no idea there'd be any personal development. I used to laugh at the personal development books in the bookshop, but it's so
I know. I used to look at those books, and even when I worked in buying, and there was all these like in the stores, these books, and I'm like, who reads those? Me. I read them now. I'm that person. But so that's all been part of it, and that's something that I think, if anything comes out of this, I'm like, well, I'm going to be like, a better person at the end of the day, hopefully.
And that's all we all want, isn't it? To be better people at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's exciting as well. It's like the journey. I think the journey, it's not the destination, it's just the journey that you have to really be excited about and wake up every day for, and go, right, what's today? Right, what are we going to
what can we conquer today?
What can we conquer today? Yes.
What do you think, Edel, was the biggest challenge in either starting the business or in running the business now?
The biggest challenge was probably for me, it was sort of that transition from being at home full time, doing all of the house stuff, managing the house, the kids, and then all of a sudden I'm stepping into this other role where I'm still there, because I at the beginning I was working from home a lot, trying to, research, trying to build my website and all the other parts that come with business. And it felt really difficult to sort of still do everything. And, I got so frustrated. And then I guess just over time, I realized that I just needed help, and communication was a big thing as well. I had to really sort of sit down with my husband and talk to him about it and say, look, I actually need your help. I need this home to function for all of us, but I can't keep doing it all. And, I used to just do everything in the house, which again, this is one reason why I'm passionate about this too, because I just felt like it felt impossible at the time. It's like, how can I keep cleaning everything and doing all the ironing and doing, because I had taken that role on for myself. I had taken that responsibility on.
So many of us do. Like I was exactly the same. Yeah.
And a funny story, just while I'm on it. I used to, whenever I was at home, I was ironing my husband's shirts, going to work, doing all the washing, all the laundry, all the everything. And then as I've got better at this, I've got better at outsourcing, and I've set up the systems. I'm now like very much you put away your own clothes, you do this, you do. I'm trying to be more of the, the CEO of the home instead of the do it all person. So anyway, so I used to do it all, but my husband, he was ironing his own shirt the other day, which he should be,
That's right, as he should, yes.
My daughter said, Daddy, why are you doing that? Why is Mummy not doing that? And I just sort of stepped back and I was like, oh, we just laughed and we went, that's Daddy's shirt and he can iron his own shirt.
Yeah. There's a lesson in here, young lady.
I know. So it's like, yes, don't do everything for everybody else. Make sure that everyone is, and that's what it's about too. It's about setting up our homes and setting up systems so that like everyone can help out.
Yeah. Well, but right. We want our children, our daughters in particular, to have different experiences than what we've had, to not have that household load that we feel that we took on.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's a massive load. Yeah. So it's and even to this day, the biggest challenge for me is just working out how to outsource things. And I'm getting better at it, but it's still difficult.
You're only 2 years into your business and you've achieved so much in that time.
Yeah.
So you definitely should be proud of what you have achieved thus far.
Yeah. I am very proud. I am very proud. And I'm, sometimes you sort of doubt yourself and still do at times. And I'm like, no, I need to like just remind myself every now and again. I'm like, it's okay. You're doing good.
That's right. That's what we're here for.
I know. It has been so, it's been one of the best things, just being part of She Will Shine and having that sort of network of women around just to like reach out to. And it's been great. It's been so helpful because otherwise it's a very lonely journey,
That's right. And like you said, you put everything on your own shoulders and it soon becomes too much of a load to bear, really.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much for chatting to us this morning, Edel. I'm so excited. Thank you. Shortly, I don't know if this will be before this podcast goes there, but I am coming up to Wollongong soon and we get to meet in person, which I'm so excited about.
I'm so excited about that too. It kind of feels like we've already met, but I have to remind myself, I'm like, hang on, no, we've just we only have a Zoom relationship.
That's right. But we're going to take it to the next level.
Yes. We're going to take it to the next level. Physical, yes.
That's right. And I'm a big hugger, so beware.
Oh, I love hugs.
Awesome. I can't wait. Sounds good. It's going to be a cuddle fest.
Oh, thanks, Danielle.
Thank you so much, Edel. We are going to watch your space shortly because 2 years into your business, you're doing amazing things, and that was all through COVID. So I know there's lots more to come. We haven't seen the last of you. I know we'll be seeing more of you as well. Thank you so much, Edel.
Thank you.
And thank you to everyone for joining us today. We will see you next time on the She Will Shine podcast.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode of the She Will Shine podcast, we invite you to check out shewillshine.com.au. She Will Shine is the essential support network you need to grow a thriving, meaningful business. We can help you grow your network, connect and develop genuine relationships, be supported and support others in building and growing a successful business on your terms. Say goodbye to working alone and become a member at shewillshine.com.au.